All right, let's get down to business. We're more than halfway through. Eloise at Christmas was the halfway point. We are at day 7 of 12 days of Christmas movies. Now, I am so passionate about this one. Tim Burton, I've got smoke for Tim Burton. I got real smoke for Tim Burton. But you know what? He make a good movie. And I gotta admit, just like, Johnny Depp, let me talk about this. Because we gonna talk about it. Because this is why we're here. We are here for top quality content and opinions. Johnny Depp, he lost his thing not because of, oh, me too, boo-hoo, it's against men. It's because no matter if a woman hits you, if you're a guy and you hit them back, yeah, that's pretty gross and grotesque. Any man who wants to fight for the right to hit a woman didn't love their mom. And that's a you problem. Like, there may have been drugs involved. And also, all else fails, he was with the mistress. Amber Heard was his mistress. People were arguing with me on Twitter about this. It's not disputed. It's truth. Amber Heard was the mistress. He was with another woman prior to being in a marriage with Amber Heard or whatever he is with her. Like, this is the whole point I'm getting to. Johnny Depp may be a crap human being and disgusting and putrid, ugly looking now. He used to look good. Now he's real ugly. Like, he looked like Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. He looked like the Dead Man's Chest in Davy Jones' locker. But he a good actor when he wants to try. Because those last 2-3 movies you made, that was disgusting. That was pretty pathetic. Pirates of the Caribbean, Stranger Tides is when it got terrible. That was bad. That was terrible. But I digress. The Nightmare Before Christmas. So, a lot of people think The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie. It is 100% not a Halloween movie. Because in the beginning of the movie, they have Halloween. And then it's over. So how can it be about Halloween when Halloween's over? So this is what the movie's about. So Jack Skellington is basically like, even though there's a mayor of the town, they still talk to Jack like he's the Pumpkin King. I don't understand how they have a king that they talk to and a mayor. But whatever. So Jack the Pumpkin King, they do this spiel every year for Christmas, and he's getting bored. He's kind of like, oh, we do this every year. I'm kind of like, he's having a midlife crisis, basically, Jack Skellington is, and he's dead. But so he is like stumbling and tumbling, and he's just trying to figure out what's going on. All the while, this simp, Sally the simp, is simping around as he does not pay attention to her. And she's like, basically, it's so disgusting. I hate to see women simps. It makes me want to throw up in my mouth. But so he's going around trying to figure out what he could do to spice up his life despite him being dead. He goes into the forest, and even though I was like, why haven't y'all seen this forest before? I guess it's because it's kind of like the Muggle effect. The Muggle effect is when you do something so much that anything that's out of that like pattern of your life, it doesn't affect you. You're numb to it because you just expect every day the sun's going to come up. If you expected every day the sun come up and then the sun's purple all of a sudden, like, half of the people would not notice. And that's insane to think, but it's the Muggle effect. It really happens. Things happen before. That's how people rob people. It's not that they're good at it. It's that the fact that they know what to do, how to, like, that's how people get tricked by tricksters, like illusionists, like Carbonaro. Carbonaro is an illusionist. You know who's a magician? Not Penn and Teller. I really don't know what they do, but not Penn and Teller. I don't like Teller or Penn. I don't know who it is. The big guy. I don't like him. The guy that doesn't speak, I don't even know about him, but I know that the other dude was on Apprentice and he was a jerk. But I digress, dude. I'm not, like, David Blaine is the magician. David Blaine is like, nothing he has ever done has been an illusion. The difference between an illusion and magic is he literally took someone's tooth out of their mouth, put it in his mouth, and then spit it back out, and it was in their mouth, and it was bleeding. So how do you do that with illusion? I'll wait for you to tell me. Thank you. You can't tell me. You can't tell me. Illusions are things where it's sleight of hand. So basically, I think that's why they've never found the forest, because that's a big plot point. He went into the forest after he was bored, like no one else found it. It was just him. So he goes into the one that's a tree, because each one of them is like a holiday. There's Easter, there's an egg. I think there's Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, I think. I can't remember. I know there's Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving world, where is that? Do the Native Americans get killed every day? But, so he goes to the Christmas one, falls in, and then he's like, what's this? What's this? There's magic in the air. What's this? The snow everywhere. Like, he goes into a song. It's basically it's kind of like a musical. You really, in my mind, like back, because I have not seen this movie, but I've seen it so many times that I can recite it. I don't think I'm going to miss much, because I've seen it so many times. But it's a musical, but it's one of those musicals where it doesn't feel like a musical. It's so smooth. That's why I like Tim Burton, because his stuff's so smooth. The only thing that he's ever made that was hard to watch with the sound and the music and all that was Sweetie Todd. I couldn't sit through that movie until I was like a little older. Like when it first came out, I was like a young teenager. I had to watch it as like a young adult and sit through it, because it's just like, it's kind of like dreary and boring kind of and monotone. There's a few songs that I like, but we're not here to talk about Sweeney Todd. We're here to talk about The Nightmare Before Christmas. And also, if you think this is a Halloween movie, check it, all right? It's called The Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it called The Nightmare Before Halloween? Is it called The Nightmare After Halloween? Is it called The Nightmare After Halloween? It's not. It's called The Nightmare Before Christmas. So if you want to fight me on this, we can. Square up. But I digress. So Jack goes through Christmas door. Goes in, sees that, he's like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's real nice. Oh, that's nice. So he basically steals Santa Claus's whole getup. And it's like, you know what? I think we should be doing Christmas. And people are just like, straight up, what on earth are you talking about? This is Halloween Town, boy. Like, this is Halloween Town. Like, stop. You tripping. And Jack was like, well, I'm Pumpkin King. And he's trying to figure out what to do. All the while, Sally is simping around. She was created by the professor, who's this blind-looking dude in a wheelchair that goes around, and he's the professor. They call him the professor. He like makes stuff. He's like the town scientist, I guess. And he basically is playing games on the side, and he created a wife, I guess. I don't know if she's supposed to be his wife or his daughter, but he created her, and he's trying to be, I don't know, I don't know what they were trying to do with that nastiness. Made him look as old as possible and made her look like really young. Like, okay, like, y'all gross. So Sally is just like, I want to be here. She's like poisons him to get out to go and like muggle around town with Jack and talk him out of this Christmas crap. And she has a premonition that Christmas is going to go up in flames. So she tells him, hey, this is not good. This isn't a good idea. And he just sits there and he's like, I really don't care. He literally just doesn't care what she thinks. He doesn't care. He doesn't take anything what she says into consideration. She literally is just like, okay, so there's this scene. And it's like, it's where I just settled that Sally is one of the biggest simps in cinematic history. Right up next to Misa Amane from Death Note, the anime, not that crap, disgusting garbage, sin dipped in misery you call a movie, Netflix. When Jack Skellington takes the clipboard out of Sally's hands and breaks it over his knee. I'm just like, okay, guys. Okay, and so that's supposed to be the guy you like? what? There's a difference. There's the difference. Like, people be like, oh, he grew so much. He didn't grow no way. He didn't grow no way. And I'm gonna tell you how I know he didn't grow nothing. He didn't do nothing, didn't learn nothing. He just got the girl at the end, just like every Mary Stu in cinema. In cinema, every guy be ugly and horrible and horrid, learn nothing, and get the girl at the end, always. But that's not a Mary Stu? That's not a Mary Stu? Okay, so, he tells Lock, Shock, and Barrel, these three kids that also work with the professor, or whatever his name is, and he tells them to go get Santa Claus, because he's like, what am I missing? What am I, da 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 da. He's like, like the whole outfit and stuff. He wants to go and get his blessing, I guess. So they run and go to the forest to go get him, and they get the wrong guy. They get the Easter Bunny. They have to go back, and I don't know if it's known that if they gave him to Oogie Boogie. I really think they gave the Easter Bunny to Oogie Boogie, but he told them to return him, but they could have did whatever with that thing. So they went to go get Santa Claus, and Santa Claus is like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Everyone's ugly. Get out of my face. And he's like, get out of your blessing. And he's like, nah. And he's like, okay. So he's like, make sure you're comfortable. Because Jack Skellington doesn't care about what anyone thinks. He literally doesn't listen to anyone. If he's the king, why y'all got a mayor? Shouldn't the mayor be doing something about this? He just lets him do whatever. And it's just like, I know the king is above, like, everybody. But in like, a monarchy, there is no mayor. So why is there a mayor if he's not going to even do anything? Like, what legislation does he pass? What does he do as a mayor when there's a king right there? But whatever, they never talk about that. So he basically says, shove off, Santa Claus, I'm going to do your job, bye. And the three kids take him to Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie's the supposed villain of the movie. Oogie Boogie literally is minding his own business. He just overhears stuff because it's his town. Like, like, Santa Claus. Like, it's like, this is cool. I'm going to mess with this dude. He's not the villain. I really don't think Oogie's the villain. You know who the villain is? It's called The Nightmare Before Christmas. If it weren't for Jack Skellington, none of this would have happened. Santa Claus wouldn't have been harassed and assaulted by Oogie Boogie and kidnapped by three little children that went and they were like, trick or treat. And he's like, what on earth? Like, that's how they got him. They went to his house and trick or treated him. And it was a trick, dude. It was a trick. They snatched him up and gave him to Oogie. And Oogie was throwing dice in his face and putting bugs in his beard and being gross. And Sally's like, oh my gosh, this is getting out of hand. While he's flying, he's going and delivering presents that he forced labor onto his citizens to do things that they aren't supposed to do. It's Halloween Town. It's not Easterville. It's not Thanksgiving Valley. It is freaking Halloween Town. Okay? So why are you making Christmas? Jack Skellington is the villain of this movie. You can fight me 10 toes. You can fight me on this. Like, fine. But it's not even a debate. Oogie Boogie would not have access to Santa Claus if Jack did not order his citizens, his subjects, because he's the king, I guess, to go kidnap this boy and then make sure he's comfortable or whatever. In your world, you know that that's not the real thing. Okay, so the Addams family have this thing where they think bad things are good, but they don't want horrible things to happen. They just do. It's like opposite, but it's like there's a line that they don't want to get shot in the head, but they would. I don't know if it's satire or if it's just that's what they feel, that's what they like. Cause dude got electrocuted in 2, I think it was 2, Pugsley or whatever got electrocuted. But I digress. So he told his subjects to make him comfortable. What does he think that means in his world? He knows good and well what it means. So Sally is the only reasonable person. She's not reasonable, because if she were reasonable, she wouldn't be simping for this guy that doesn't like. It'd be one thing if she was the hero and she was just like, Jack, you put us through a lot of stuff. He literally did nothing. Like he literally, y'all gotta watch this movie again. He destroys Christmas, and then he gets the girl at the end. Sally's the one that saves Santa Claus from Oogie Boogie. She uses her leg like, oh, look at my leg, oh, woof hoo hoo. Simp, I'm Mrs. Sally Simp over here. And then she unties him, and Jack goes to get Oogie in the end, but he still destroys Christmas. He still goes up into the air and drops down Christmas presents made by his subjects, forced labor. And they're like goblins and ghouls and things that are biting people and chasing people and bats. And the army shoots him down. The military shoots him down. For real. That's like no joke. It's straight up in the movie. Like, how y'all not see that Jack's the villain? Like, he is the villain. Like, he's the nightmare before Christmas. Like, he's the nightmare that happened. Like, this all happened at nighttime. It wasn't daytime. He's on the floor and his jaw's all busted up and Daryl's looking at him like, oh, poor him. Like, that's another thing that happens. In order for Mary Stews to actually happen, first of all, the guy has to be ugly. Now, Jack doesn't fall under that because he's just a cartoon. Like, I don't like say necessarily cartoons are good or ugly. Like, a Big Mouth is ugly animation, but Bob's Burgers is a tolerable ugly. The Simpsons isn't an ugly animation at all. It's just standard. It's not anything that I could hold any like value to it in relation to what I believe it looks like. But I'm talking about like Adam Sandler. I've been talking about this for a couple of days now. The guys that always get the girls despite them being 3 times uglier than they are attractive at all. They don't have to even be like beauty queens. They just look way better. Like Drew Barrymore, I don't even have to tell you, her chin is like Crimson Chin from Timmy Turner. I don't find Drew Barrymore any sort of attractive, but I'm not a guy, so whatever, I guess. But she looks better next to Adam Sandler than she would a trash bag filled with garbage. Like, I don't know, like, it's just, they always do this. They always put some ugly dude next to somebody, some woman, some Anglo-Saxon girl, and then it's just like, wow, he gets the girl. He got the girl after cleaning up the mess he started. And even Santa Claus, after all was said and done, he's like, bro, like, you literally, like, did this. You trash. You really garbage. I gotta go save Christmas now. So he gets in his thing, and he wiggles his nose, and he gives everyone's presents and takes back all the crap that Jack gave them. Are you serious? Santa Claus had to do everything anyway, and Sally had to get him out. If it wasn't for Sally figuring out where he went and where he was, and then Sally's like, I don't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I do not recall if Jack Skellington ever apologized to Sally. I just remember silence. Him on that little thing that's curls, that little hill that curls, and Sally walking up that hill, or him walking up that hill and they looking at each other and them kissing or hugging or whatever. That's it. I remember silence. So correct me if I'm wrong. If he said sorry, then he's only 1/8 less wrong than I think he is right now. But he's just jacked. And that's why his name is Jack. Because it's jacked. His whole situation, he's not the hero. He's not the protagonist. He's literally the antagonist of the whole movie. Everything that he contributed to this movie caused everyone's misery. His subjects. The mayor. Because I don't even consider him a subject. Because he doesn't listen to him. He doesn't get him to do nothing anyway. He just screams. He's like, Jack, where are you? He's got like 2 heads. He's got a happy head and he's got a scared head. And that's all he needs, I guess. But what's the point of having a mayor if you've got a king? Okay, whatever. I'm done. I'm done. That was The Nightmare Before Christmas. Okay. Jack Skellington is quite a villain. Oogie Boogie, I don't consider him a villain, but Kingdom Hearts most certainly does. Despite y'all keeping the same storyline for the games, y'all even talk about how villainous he is, but he's not a villain. He's just like one of those dopey, and that's another thing. Let me tell you, I forgot to finish the list of Mary Stu. So he's got to be ugly. All right, he's got to be pitiful. He's got to be pitiful. And he's got to be oblivious to his ignorance. Like, it's one thing to be ignorant. It's another thing to be oblivious to that ignorance. You can understand that you don't know something, but if you don't understand that you don't know something, how do you learn? I'll wait. So that's why I'm just sitting here like, wow, he fits all those categories other than the ugly part. He's just a thin old twig dude with a marshmallow for a head. But I think it's insane that he literally does everything horrible and still Sally is just going to be like, well, I'll just simp for you some more. There was nothing honorable in what he did. He was playing games. He was being selfish. He didn't even he pitched this idea. And people were like, yeah, but did they really like it? Or were they just, going along with it because he's their king and he could, have them killed? But whatever. So, yeah. Another story that the lesson, with this, Tim Burton really doesn't do the lesson. It doesn't hit home with the lesson because he did that and he wasn't reprimanded for it. He got the girl at the end. He got to have his jacked up Christmas. It'd be one thing if something stopped him from going, but then there would be no climax. The climax could have been something between him and Sally, but it wasn't if they weren't going to make it a romance thing, and I don't really care. Romance, schmomance. Could be one, could be not one. It just has to be a good story. And it's a good movie, but I, for one, believe that Jack gets off way too easy. He gets everything he wants. He got his cake and he ate it too. And that sounds like a Mary Stew. To me. The next movie I'm going to be doing, I don't even know. It'll be a surprise, I guess. But that's the end. Subscribe, watch the previous ones. Bad Santa, I recommend that one. That's my ultimate top favorite. And my ultimate top favorite will be on Christmas Day. I will post. It's A Christmas Story with Ralphie. You'll shoot your eye out, Ralphie. That one's going to be interesting and fun. I'm going to delve deep into it. It may be a longer video than the rest of them. But I do believe the next one might be Christmas Vacation. But don't quote me on that. Just check and see. There's a bunch of them on here. I'm going to be posting every day for 12 days. Most I've done, concurrently, congruently, keep going, I keep going, we'll see what happens, what develops. Happy holidays. And remember, The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Christmas movie, not a Halloween movie.